Would you describe yourself as an organized person? Do you have a place for everything and everything in its place? Or do you arrange things in a more random manner? What about your thinking? Would you describe that as organized? It's quite hard to know the answer to that. Most of the time, thinking just happens, so it's difficult for us to be aware of it. However, if you've spent some time paying attention to how other people think, trying to spot when they were diverging and converging, you've probably noticed that we don't always solve problems in the most organized way, and we certainly don't all solve problems in the same way. Think back to the last time you tried to solve a problem with some friends. You probably experienced people jumping between creating ideas, collecting facts, arguing about whether an idea would work, and maybe even rushing off to start working on something. But that's enough about other people. Let's look at how you solve problems. Think back to a recent problem which you solved on your own. Try to remember what actually happened and write down the steps you think you took. If you want, you can draw it as a sort of route map, showing how you got from the problem to the solution. You might want to use your workbook to sketch down your problem-solving map, and this will become a very important document. The fact is that having all the problem-solving skills in the world isn't much use to you unless you also have a map showing how to use them. Now, everyone must have a map in their head because we all solve problems, but we usually aren't aware of how we do this. This lack of awareness can lead to two problems. First, it's easy to get distracted by whatever seems to be most important at the time. This means you may not follow your own plan effectively. For example, you might spend more time on dreaming up ideas and not enough on working out the details. Second, it can be hard to explain your plan to other people. They have their own plans which may not look quite like yours, and that can lead to conflicts. So having a map is a good thing, but is your problem-solving map the best, or are there better ones out there? Well, there's been a lot of research on this topic over the last 60 years, and the researchers found that there is a process which works very well. The key steps to the process are clarify the problem, generate some ideas to solve the problem, develop those ideas into the best solution, and then implement your solution. Now, we think you'll agree that this is a very straightforward process. In fact, your process probably looked quite similar. But if all our processes are similar, what's so clever about this one? Well, the answer is that it's all about divergence and convergence. If we were to ask people where they thought the creativity happened in this process, most of them would point to the idea generation stage, and they'd be right. We use our creative skills at that point, and we use them in every other step as well. Confused? Okay, let's explore this further. Let's take the first step in the plan, clarifying the problem. In order to understand a problem, you have to explore it. Typically, this means you make a list of all the facts and then highlight the really important ones which define the issue. Sound familiar? It should do. This is simply diverging and converging, but this time it's all about facts rather than ideas. And of course that leads us to the idea stage. Once you understand what the problem is, you can diverge to generate ideas, and then converge to decide which ones might be worth taking further. Developing the best solution works in the same way. You explore the various ways ideas could be made into possible solutions, and then pick the best one. Finally, in the implementation stage, you diverge to think about all the ways in which you might implement your solution, and then converge to pick the best approach. So diverging and converging happen at every stage of this process, and that's what makes this particular map so much more effective than the alternatives. However, there is a really important point which we must not forget. You remember in the previous program how we emphasized the importance of separating divergence and convergence, that's not breathing in and out at the same time. Well, that rule applies in every stage of this plan. For example, when you're clarifying the problem, you need to delay your judgment and explore the facts. Then, when you have enough information, apply your judgment in a positive way and make choices to narrow down your list. It's incredibly simple and yet very powerful. If you can become really good at following the map and managing your divergence and convergence, you will be amazed at the effect it has on your problem-solving skills, and also your ability to work with others. Now, the rest of this series is going to take these steps and show you how you can improve your ability in each stage. For today, what we want you to do is to try applying these 4 stages to at least one problem. It doesn't have to be a big problem. It could be as simple as planning what to do at the weekend. The key point is that we want you to consciously think about the facts, then the ideas, then development, and finally action. And remember to separate divergence and convergence. See you in the next program.